Let's keep our gaze at the spiritual eye. Let's be centered in this moment, focused completely right now, right here. And let us take a moment to silently invoke the divine in us so that we are able to understand the higher teachings of yoga, of Sankhya, of Bhagavad Gita as taught by Krishna, that we may imbibe these teachings not just with our intellect, but with every fiber of our being. And then may we have the courage to follow the teachings and make them a living reality in our life. Oh. So, friends, we are on the chapter 2 of the Bhagavad Gita. And last time we started verse number 37 and were able to discuss half of it. And so we will go into a detailed explanation of verse or shloka number 37. I will read it out again. Hato va prapsyasi swargam jitva va bhoksyase mahim tasmadutishta kaunteya yuddhaya kritanishchaya. If thou shouldst die battling thine enemies, thou wilt gain heaven. If thou conquerest, thou wilt enjoy the earth. Therefore, O son of Kunti, lift thyself up, be determined to fight. So, this is a very, very important shloka because just like Arjuna, when we are fighting the battle of life and we are able to see our enemies, we just want to give up. And it's easy to say that I don't want to kill these people. They are my own. They are my own habits. I have grown up with them, and it's not my dharma to kill them, and so on and so forth. We give all this reasoning, and we say we are not going to fight. And Arjuna has been explained by Sri Krishna how that he is the soul and that he's not going to be slaying, and what else is his dharma, and what should be his position right now. And so, even to explain it further to the devotee or to Arjuna, Krishna is saying that if you are victorious in the battle that you take upon yourself, then you will have the kingdom of earth, you will inherit the earth. And if you die, even while trying your best, if you die, even then you will attain to heaven. So this has been explained by Paramahansa Yogananda at three levels. So he talks about the outer life battles that we go through every day. Then the second layer, he talks about the psychological battles which go on inside our mind between the virtues and the vices. And the third level of battle that is being talked about is the spiritual battle, means are we able to identify ourselves with the omnipresent spirit, or are we identifying ourselves with the ego? And that's actually the main battle, because once we understand that we are not the ego, then automatically the other battles are easy to win. But if let's talk about the daily life battle that we have on the outside. So whatever difficulties or challenges that you are fighting on the outside, if you keep trying, however challenging the situation, if you do not stop, if you use your God-given willpower and you try to use your thinking mind, your creative ability to bring in solution to whatever problem life has put in front of you, then if you are able to do it to the best of your capability, you will be victorious, as in you will be able to find the solution to your problem, you will be able to override the obstacle, and therefore you will inherit that the satisfaction of that victory, and whatever the problem was will get solved. Now suppose master says, suppose you are not able to solve the problem, yet according to you, you have put in your 100% sincere effort, and suppose you die trying fighting the battle of this life. He says, in the next life, you will be born into a nobler family and you will have developed attitudes of courage and of willpower, which will help you further to be successful in your battles. So there is no loss we can see here. Then the second level is the psychological battle. And again, here we are trying to fight our own anger, our own irritability, our own worry, fear, consciousness, and so on. So many other things, envy, jealousy. We know the entire list of the Kauravas. So we are trying to battle these. Why are we trying to battle these? Because we know that these take away our peace. They do not help us to establish ourselves in the kingdom of our own peace. And we will have to go into vanvas. That means we have to go into exile. Once these vices take over us, then it takes many years for us to conquer them. So now we must try to battle at the inner psychological level in our mind to fight these tendencies. And if we are able to be victorious over anger, let's say, then of course we are going to get peace right now, right here. But suppose you are unable to completely fight it out, and we don't fight anger with anger, let us remember that. So, by invoking joy, peace, and various other methods, if we are able to conquer anger, we win right now. But if we are not able to conquer it fully, then Master says, in your next life, you will be born with a tendency of good self control. And once you develop that self control, because you have practiced in this life, therefore, in the next life, your life is going to be more peaceful, and this anger tendency or habit pattern will not trouble you as much, and it will be easier to ride it or override it in the next life. So now many people may think that, oh, who has seen the next life and so on. So just in this case, what you can do is consider the next day of your life as your next life. So tomorrow when you get up, think of it as your next life. So today, if you have fought the battle of conquering your own fear and worry, then tomorrow when you get up from your sleep, aren't you going to be in a better position to conquer it even further, or to enjoy the peace that you have gained? So even if you cannot put your mind around the thought of reincarnation or a next life, consider every day of your life as the next life. In fact, Lahiri Maharshi said that every breath that you take, every new breath is new life. So if you are trying in this breath, in this moment, or this hour, or today, then you are improving indefinite time in future, whether it is the next moment, whether it is the next hour, whether it is the next day, the next week, the next month, next 10 years, or it is the next life. So you don't have to really think that, oh, whether or not next life exists. I am trying to do my best right now, because indefinitely in future, this fighting this battle and being victorious over this battle is definitely worthwhile. And sometime in my life I have to do this. Then why not now? So therefore, I will put in all my sincere effort to fight this inner battle as well. Now, remember, this inner battle you will be able to fight only if you are introspecting. Only if you know, if you recognize and you acknowledge that you have these vices inside of you, these kauravas are inside of you. As long as you are rejecting and saying, no, I have no anger problem and no worry issue, and I'm the happiest person, which your face doesn't reflect. So as long as you're rejecting the fact that you're having these problems, this battle it doesn't stand anywhere. But as soon as you are able, through introspection, to see your own thoughts and emotions and their direction, then you will be able to fight it. So bring in introspection. Daily introspection is very important. And then, of course, you can gauge your success each day. At the end of each day, you ask yourself, did I try my best? Did I practice self-control to some degree? So am I better than before or not? That's all that is needed to ask yourself. The third level of battle, we said, is the spiritual battle. Right now, the soul is, as got identified, is working as the ego, identified with the body and mind complex. And it keeps thinking that this limited structure of body mind is what it is. But with meditation, the soul starts to identify itself with spirit, means instead of bodily and mental attachments, it realizes its free nature as the soul or the infinite spirit, which is its absolute existence. And therefore, every day when you meditate, you are actually coming closer to victory in this spiritual battle. Every time you identify yourself with the body and mind and think of only the name of your body, the occupation of your body, the possessions of your body, the job that your body does, if you're just engrossed 24 hours in this, then you will not be able to identify yourself with the true nature of your being, which is spirit or which is absolute existence. So, as many times in a day as you can remember that you are absolute existence, consciousness, bliss, that is the final victory. And it is that victory that will ensure that you are victorious at the physiological, psychological, and outward daily battles that we fight. So most people who are present here, I know, are good at fighting physical battles, are good at fighting psychological battles to an extent. But when it comes to this battle of identifying yourself with spirit and leaving your body and mind attachments, very few are actually working on this, because this you need to really put in the effort of actually sitting down and meditating every day. If you're only listening to talks, if you're only reading books, and you're intellectualizing that, yes, I am absolute existence, I am the soul self, this is my true nature, but you are not feeling it yourself, you are not experiencing it firsthand, then what is the direction that you are going in? You are going to get lost in intellectual jargon, which we do not want. Why are we doing this intellectual jargon? So that we are pointed to that infinite nature within ourselves, which can be directly experienced through meditation. So, if we want the Gita to come alive in us, if Krishna says to Arjuna, you are the soul, it is up to us. With the Guru's grace, we have the technique with us, in through practicing which we can say, hence proved, yes, I know, I experience myself as the soul. I am not this body and mind. So, this tick in your life, you have to put yourself, and nobody else will be able to help you. The Guru has given you the keys to the kingdom. The Guru has given you all teachings. The path has been shown to you. The door has been shown to you, but you will have to walk it yourself. And then again, do not postpone. Why not now? Let your next birth or the next sunrise show you self realization. Be determined enough. So this brings us to shloka number 38. Sukh dukhe same kritva labha labho jaya jayo tato yuddhaya yujjasva nevam papam vapsyasi. सुख और दुख, लाभ और हानि, जय और पराजय को एक समान समझते हुए युद्ध का सामना करो। इस प्रकार तुम पाप के भागी नहीं बनोगे। Equalizing by even mindedness, happiness and sorrow, profit and loss, triumph and failure, so encounter thou the battle. Thus thou will not acquire sin. Now, this we have heard Master say. Master says, whatever comes of itself, let it come. You accept with an even minded and cheerful attitude whatever comes. So, what will happen if we accept everything, with a cheerful attitude? This world of duality, you will be able to cancel out the delusion of duality. So, all that is happening to you is actually your reaction to what the universe is throwing at you. Whatever you feel, whatever you think is as a reaction to what is happening. Everything, Master said, is neutral. Whatever the circumstances are neutral. But what you react is what you make of it. So, for example, if it is a sunny day, for some it is a beautiful day, but for some it is a bad day, it is a hot day, it is a sweaty day. So it is what you think, what is your inside you, that will determine what the neutral situation feels like. So if we practice even mindedness, whether it is a sunny day or a rainy day, then we are able to cancel out the effect of delusion and duality on our lives. And only if we can do that, canceling out the duality, will we understand our nature, which is beyond duality. And therefore, we have to practice this. All those people who tend to get very excited with when happy things happen in your life are the same people who feel very melancholic when that temporary happiness goes away. You feel even more miserable. So if how to manage this now? Then should I not be happy at all? I mean, that is a question that many people ask. So there are many facets to this situation. The easier way to manage your melancholy, I would say, is when you are getting excited. If you can control your excitement at that time, you will find that when the reverse melancholy comes, that will automatically be blunted. It is difficult to work on your emotions when you are in deep melancholy, very sad, or in a negative state of mind. But if you are in a positive state of mind, and if you are an alert yogi or an aspiring yogi, then if you control that excitement, you will also be able to control the downside of that feeling. A very important thing to understand is to know clearly that when we talk of bliss, when we talk of joy and true happiness, it is not a state of excitement. It is not an excitable state. So let me compare meditation and medication. So when we are in good health, we do not need medication. But when our health is lost, then if we take medication, the medication will bring the health to its normal state and not to any other excitable state. Okay. Similarly, now let's bring this to meditation. When we are going to meditate, so our natural state of being is peace and joy, an unexcitable type of joy. When we meditate, it is going to bring us back to this natural state of peace, which is away from duality. So don't think that your meditation will give you an exciting or excitable type of happiness. The happiness that is brought by meditation is a very peaceful type of happiness. So sometimes we are expecting that, now I'm meditating, now I'm going to be very, very happy and, jumping around with the things that are happening to life. And firstly, we imagine that if because now I am a meditator and I have a guru in my life is going to get easier and simpler and happier. Now that is a fallacy in itself because life is going to throw at you whatever it has to throw at you. By meditation, I mean, at the guru's days, our inward phenomenon changes, our reaction and response changes. So that is where the change comes. So what meditation will do, it will bring you to a state of even mind and a peaceful happiness. That should be very clear with everybody. Okay. So, how can we, bring ourselves to this even-minded state? So there are two, three things that, of course, that we can, write a whole book on how to become even-minded. But let's just list out a couple of things. The first and the foremost is accepting life just as it is, without putting in your likes and dislikes in it. That means without judging and just simply, just as it is, you say, okay, I accept this situation just as it is being prevented to me, and I will not wish it otherwise. And once I'm able to do that, then only can I work with the current situation. Now, this does not mean, now, acceptance does not mean weakness at all. Acceptance does not mean and just being okay with mediocrity. And acceptance does not mean that whatever wrong in the world is happening, I am fine with that. We are not saying that. Acceptance means without judging, just seeing the reality as it is. Now, once I'm able to see the reality, then and only then can I bring about any desired positive change in the situation. So, the first thing is acceptance. The second, as we discussed, it is introspection. Let us see our own thoughts and emotions and see where in which direction are we going. Are we rejecting life when life throws something at us? Are we rejecting it, or are we accepting it and we are trying to fight that battle and we are evolving and growing out of that battle? Or are we just putting the dust under the carpet because someday it has to be addressed? So why not now? So these two go hand in hand. The other important way of being even minded is to take things impersonally. Don't refer everything that happens to you to I, me, mine. Oh, why this is happening to me? I am the sufferer. I am the victim. Everybody else is, victimizing me. So everything comes to I, me, and mine. Just simplify it. Take it impersonally. Ask yourself, Swami would always say, ask yourself, what is trying to happen here? What is this situation trying to teach? How am I supposed to appropriately respond to situation without considering that, oh, I am the sufferer here? Because when we are enjoying ourselves, we never ask ourselves, why am I the enjoyer? We only ask, why am I the sufferer? As long as you keep down the I-ness when you enjoying yourself, you will not be able to keep the I-ness when the suffering comes. Therefore, see everything impersonally. This will also help to transcend the ego. And another way to be even minded is to understand the truth of the impermanence of everything. Nothing will last. Only one thing will last is your own truth, your own absolute existence. Everything that is happening around you right now is undergoing change. All electrons are moving around their nucleuses, and everything around you as we speak, including your body, is decaying. And this will change. So, therefore, associate yourself with the soul self. Once you are with your own absolute existence, automatically the waves of the success, failure, happiness, sorrow, health, disease, these will not affect you because you will know that you are the unchanging reality on which this changing body and mind are projected. So, unless we meditate every day, how are we going to introspect, accept, transcend the ego, and all of this? We are not able to do that. As long as our minds are restless, as long as we are just simply running the rat race, we are not even pausing to think why I am doing whatever I am doing. In which direction am I going? Who am I? I'm not asking these questions. As long as I don't ask these questions, the answers are at bay. And to even ask these questions, I need to pause. So, therefore, ask yourself each day, what am I doing? Why am I doing? Where do I need to go? What is my eventual goal in life? What is the purpose and meaning of all of this? And then try finding answers to this. All of us present here are disciples, and we've already been given a direction. And are we walking on it? Are we meditating every day? Are we listening to master's teachings? Are we applying them? So these are things where we have to do every day. We cannot say, I should be even minded, but then I do nothing about it. It's not going to drop from the sky. You have to develop it inch by inch, minute by minute. You have to earn your even mindedness. So start right now. This brings us to shloka number 39. Esha teha bihita sankhye buddhir-yoge tvimam shrinu buddhaya yuktaya partha karma bandham prahasyasi. कृष्ण ने अर्जुन से कहा, मैंने सांख्या के परम ज्ञान तुम्हें स्पष्ट किया है, परंतु अब तुम्हें योग के ज्ञान के विषय में भी सुनना चाहिए। हे पार्थ अर्जुन, इससे सुसज्जित होकर तुम कर्म के बंधनों को छिन्न भिन्न कर दोगे। The ultimate wisdom of Samkhya I have explained to thee, but now thou must hear about the wisdom of yoga, equipped with which, O Parth Arjuna, thou shalt shatter the bonds of karma. So Krishna says that what's the philosophy of Sankhya? We know there are six in philosophies in the Hindu system, and here two are being talked about. So in Sankhya philosophy, we talk about spirit and matter, Purusha and Prakriti. So Krishna has explained to us how the infinite spirit has descended into matter. Through the philosophy of Samkhya, this has been explained that there are 24 principles when a spirit descends into matter and a manifested material creation is projected, then it takes 24 things. What are these 20 things? We have read this in the holy science, we have read it in the Gita as well. So what are these? So five are the panchabhutas, or the five elements that we have heard of. Then five are tanmatras. So tanmatras are the subtle essence or qualities of these five elements. Then there are five karmendriyas, or the organs of action. Then there are five jnanendriyas, or the organs of senses. And then, of course, we know man, buddhi, ahamkar, chitta. So here, prakriti has been considered as one element. Chitta and intellect has been considered the other. And manas and ahamkara have been considered the rest two. So here we have 24 states through which spirit descends into matter, and then it projects itself as the body mind complex. Now, Krishna says, now I'm going to tell you about yoga. So, what yoga does? So, Shamkhya gives a philosophy, and yoga tells you how to reverse this descent. As spirit has come into matter, and now we are locked, we are soul, infinite spirit, locked in a body mind phenomenon. How do we free ourselves from this association with matter and we ascend back into spirit? That is what yoga does. So yoga is yoga, or that which unites the soul with spirit. So now Krishna will guide us as to how we are going to do that. Okay. Then he says, and in fact, actually, Master explains here that how the role of karma and dhyana here is very important. He says the devotee who knows the art of yoga, experiencing the pure joy of meditation, does not further involve himself in new desires and new karma. So, firstly, let us analyze ourselves. Why do we involve ourselves in new desires and new karma? Why do we have desires in the first place? We have desires because we think that we are incomplete right now. And when we gain something out of the world, then that thing or that person or that situation will make us complete. And it is only then that we shall be happy. Now, this is complete delusion, because we are existence, consciousness, bliss itself. We are ever new joy itself. But we do not know, we have forgotten because of the different veils that are over us, the different, kleshas that are obstructing our realization. Now, if we are a yoga practitioner, what yoga will do is it will help us to remove the kleshas and help us to understand that we are complete in ourselves. We are purna, we are whole, and we do not need the satisfaction of an outward thing to make us feel complete. And automatically, without beating ourselves, we will be able to get rid of desires. And also, a person who practices yoga is able to transcend his past karma. And also, Master says he can transcend the karma which is right now, it is going to give fruit. So impending karma can also be nullified by yoga. How? Master explains that when you practice meditation, you can actually cancel out the circuits or the grooves in the brain that carry your past bad habit patterns, because of which certain karmas are about to manifest. So, on the one hand, you stop creating new desires. On the other hand, the impending karma can be cleansed. Can be into fires of wisdom. You can roast the seeds of karma. That's what Master said. So you can manage karma at very, very multiple layers. And that is how, yoga is going to help you. And when we talk of yoga, yoga is both the path and the goal. As the goal, yoga is union. But as the path we know, so all the paths that lead to that union are also called yoga, as in bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, karma yoga, and raji. This brings us to shloka number 40. नेहाभिक्रम नाशो अस्ति प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते स्वल्पमप्यस्य धर्मस्य त्रायते महतो भयात्. इस पथ में कर्म योग के मुक्ति के लिए किए गए अपूर्ण प्रयास नष्ट नहीं होते, न ही इसमें कोई विपरीत प्रभाव ही उत्पन्न होते हैं। इस सच्चे धर्म का थोड़ा सा अभ्यास भी महान भय, यानी कि जन्म और मृत्यु के पुनः पुनः आने वाले चक्रों में निहित भारी कष्ट से व्यक्ति की रक्षा करता है। Okay, so the second line of this shloka has been mentioned in the autobiography. It is the line that Babaji said to Lahiri Mahashay to tell all those who will be practicing Kriya that this inner religion will remove your suffering. Swalpamasya means even the littlest practice of this dharmasya, trayate mahato bhayat means it will cancel out, it will nullify, it will kill the fear and the suffering. In this path of yoga action, there is no loss of unfinished effort for realization, nor is there creation of contrary effects. Even a tiny bit of this real religion protects one from great fear and colossal sufferings, which are inherent in the repeated cycle of birth and death. So, this is for us, this is a very, very important shloka because not only, of course, Krishna is mentioned in the Gita, but Babaji, who is a reincarnation of Krishna, is also quoting this to us. Okay. So, what he's saying here is even the least attempt that you put into your spiritual practice will not be lost. Whatever else you gain in this life, whatever material gain that you have in this life, everything will be left behind when you leave this body. But even the littlest of smallest of spiritual gain or effort that you put in now will go with you. So, and there is no loss on this path, and there is no side effect of this path. It's a gain, it's a win-win situation. He says that, material success, when we have material success, it is a tangible result, but it is short-lived. But when you put in spiritual effort, firstly, it's difficult to measure spiritual success so easily. The way to understand spiritual success is how much peace you have in your life is a benchmark as to how successful you are spiritually. So ask yourself, what were you 2 years ago before you we started meditation, and then 1 year after meditation, and then 5 years after meditation, or 10 years after meditation? Just check, is your peace increasing? If yes, then you are successful in whatever efforts you have put in. So it is a little less physically tangible effect, but you can feel it in yourself. And yet, this is the effect that is going to go with you as you move on either into next life or into the perfect absolute peace of moksha. And many saints have said this, that even once if you've had this desire of finding that infinite joy of moksha, then sooner or later, whether in this life or in a later life, this will have to be fulfilled. So, even if so, the fact that we are all here means that we have yearned to know the truth. We have wanted to find God. We have wanted to taste the perennial joy, which is unchanging, the unconditional love of existence. And that is why we are all putting in this effort. But what we can do is let that desire for truth, the yearning for truth, let it be a burning desire, let it be alive. This is what is called mumukshutva, means how thirsty are you for salvation, how thirsty are you to free yourself from all that you think is I, me, mine, good or bad, both. So depending on that living thirst that you have, that restlessness that you have, that yearning that you have, that will bring you, it will magnetize salvation towards you in a faster way. And that's what Ramakrishna Paramahansa would say. He would say, you should have that restlessness in your heart to find God now. And Master would say, you keep saying to God, reveal thyself, reveal thyself, reveal thyself. Because as is your restlessness, as is your yearning for truth, so the universe will respond, because the universe is a sounding board. Just like plucking a guitar string, suppose there are strings, and behind it, if there is no wooden box or a soundboard, it will not produce any sound or hardly any sound, perceptible sound. But it's because there is a soundboard which resonates and which vibrates and throws back the sound. Are you able to hear those strings being played? So, this whole universe is like a soundboard. You pluck a little string of your heart and say, God, I need you. And the whole universe will start to resound that. So, according to your depth of yearning and your thirst of yearning, the response will come. So, it is up to all of us. Each one of us decides how fast we want to reach to God. Is it going to be easy? No. Who said it's going to be easy? But do we really want it? Am I really thirsty? If yes, then go for it. Master said, I'm anyway fed up with tortoises. He wants race horses. He wants us children to race towards God and fast. And fast does not mean a restless fast. Means actually being fast and calming ourselves. Being fast and settling ourselves in our own being. So it's not that now when we have this image in our mind that we are horse racers and we are running towards God, let us not imagine that we are running in space or time. There is no other place that we have to go, and there is no moment in time that we are running to. We are coming to ourself here and now. That's where we need to be fast. And the fastness here will come when we meditate regularly and go inward on a daily basis. That's how you will quicken your progress. Okay. The devotee should remember that even a momentary entry into the kingdom of meditation may ultimately mean his freedom from the karmic prison of births and deaths. Someday, some life, each man must take that first divine step. This stanza does not mean, of course, that a little meditation will ensure freedom from cosmic delusion. But it is obvious that determined, steady efforts at meditation immensely quicken one's spiritual evolution. Okay, so we now read shloka number 41. व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिरेकः कुरुनन्दनः बहुशाखा ह्यनन्ताश्च बुद्धयो अव्यसायिनाम्। हे अर्जुन, इस योग में आंतरिक दृढ़ निश्चय एक ही होता है, पूर्ण रूप से लक्ष्य पर केंद्रित, जबकि अनिश्चित मन के तर्क अनंत एवं विभिन्न प्रकार के होते हैं। In this yoga, O Arjuna, the inner determination is single, one-pointed, whereas the reasonings of the undecided mind are unending and variously ramified. So we know that our mind can give us endless reasons for why we should not seek the truth. Why? Because this world is it's a fair, it's a beautiful place. Life is so beautiful, and we should, let's involve ourselves. We should have a long bucket list. That's what the trend is now. Have a long bucket list. If you find that your bucket list is filling up, increase it further, fill pages of your, what you desire and so on. So this is, and the mind will say, of course, because it is because I do these things that I feel alive, otherwise I feel dead. Now, the yogi will think in a reverse manner, because the yogi knows that this bucket list will never get fulfilled, because it is the nature of desire to never give you complete satisfaction. And therefore, just like the hare will follow a carrot and will unendingly keep following the carrot, we are, as we have more and more desires, we keep following them, and they do guarantee some happiness, but they never give the happiness that is promised, and they never fully satisfy us. So although the worldly man thinks that he should have more and more desires and keep working at it, the yogi knows that where this is going. Firstly, you will never get the happiness that you are looking for. Secondly, there will never be any satisfaction. Thirdly, if the desire is not fulfilled, it is going to give you frustration and anger. Fourthly, because you have desired so much and you have done karma according to those desires, it is going to take you into more births and death series. And once that happens, then again, all of that suffering, all of that wanting, that craving, that denial, the decay, the health problems, and death is going to come. So again, we have to choose on which side we want to be. If we want to enjoy this world, if we are happy and fully satisfied, then of course we see from the side of, okay, let me do this, let me do that, and it's okay if I come again. So there are many people who say, wow, that we are going to have another chance at this life, which is fine. To each one his own. But the fact that we all are here is we are trying to find out, is there something higher than what we are doing already? Is there something more than the pleasure of the senses, the satisfaction of engagement, the simple happiness of meaning? Is there another higher level of happiness? Is there a satisfaction which never finishes? Is there a love which is never denied to us? Is there a peace bathing in which I have no problems, no questions, and no doubts? So we are standing at a point where we are asking these higher questions and we are trying to, and of course, we know the solution to this is nirvana, moksha. There is a possibility, whatever we have listed so far of unconditional love and joy can be available to us if we do whatever needs to be done to attain moksha or nirvana or salvation or whatever you want to call it. And suppose, and therefore, the although the mind will give you ramified, dialogues and ways to go get involved in the world, but if your heart and mind are single pointed, which they should be eventually, if you're looking for moksha, then there is no other alternative actually. Then you might as well have a single pointed heart, right? At least to some degree. So you may say that how can I have a single pointed heart and mind towards God? I have so many duties to perform. I have children to feed. I have my job to do. So who says that your no the normal daily life and your spiritual life is separate? It is not. If you are a regular meditator and a true lover of God, then you will spiritualize every minute of your life. Then you will learn, how can I make my entire life God centered, whether I'm working in the kitchen, whether I'm a banker, if I'm a businessman doing some dealing, how am I going to spiritualize every moment of your life? And if you do that, meditating some time in the day and spiritualizing rest of your working time, then automatically it is understood that your heart and mind are single pointed. You are focused on God, and the rest you are doing because it is the needful and appropriate for your station in life and for your position in life. So it is possible. There is no excuse and no argument where you can say that, oh, I cannot keep my mind on God. You can. In fact, you can organize your entire life doing exactly the same things, but with an inner change of attitude, with the inner change of the needle of your attention. Just as a compass, master would say, let the needle of your attention always be on God. God, God, God. And he says, in the battle din of activity, let your silent war cry be God, God, God. So now check with yourself. How many times in a day have you put the needle of your attention, even in the midst of your daily activities, on this? Have you been able to, so when you are in difficulty, when the battle is trying to push you down, and as master said, this is your silent war cry, are you doing this? If not, then introduce it or increase its intensity. Do not let go. Now remember the previous shlokas where he said you have to die trying. Even if you don't attain salvation in this life, die trying. Therefore, all the time, every minute is wasted, saints have said, in which you are not seeking God. Because this world will go on just as it is. The same troubles, the same difficulties, the same challenges over and over and over again. The characters will keep changing. This is it. You've seen everything. You've been there, done that. You want to put a loop into your life, same thing repeating over and over again, or you want to exit this, circular loop. So then make it your silent war cry. Involve God in every aspect of your life. And of course, you're going to do your karmic dharma as well. Do your duties. Spiritualize every moment of your life. A restless person, Guruji says, wanders in births and deaths. A curious person will pursue various paths of philosophy, but in the end, he will get confused. But a yogi is fixed in determination. And the beautiful thing for all of us is we have a Sadguru in our life. We have been shown a singular path. We have been directed to that. We have been hand-held into that path. Now, even then, if we want to do a lot of window shopping or we want to scatter our energies here and there, then who is going to help us? For everyone, whoever their guru is, that guru is the channel between infinity and your little self. He is that window, he is that ray, the frequency of the infinite through which the disciple will cross over the gulf between the ego and spirit. So stay one-pointed in your intention of finding God, one-pointed in organizing your life around that intention, one-pointed in the path that you follow, one-pointed in the teachings of the Guru, and one-pointed in your meditation practice. And let me not leave out one-pointed in loving everybody. Because without the love of your heart, all of this will remain only intellectual. And this is a trap. So without bhakti, without the love of your heart, everything is meaningless. And that is why Sri Yukteswarji has said, not a single step can be taken without the natural love of the heart. So develop that as well. Let us now go on to the next shloka. So the next shloka is a set of 3 shlokas together. Actually, so shlokas 42 to 44 have been dealt together. And it's a little bit long translation. And it would be good if you can just close your eyes and listen to the Hindi as well as the English translations and just try to imbibe as much, because maybe we'll have to go into a discussion of this next time. But let's begin. Shloka number 42. Yamimam pushpitam vacha pravadantya vipaschitaha vedavadarata partha nanyadastiti vadinaha. 43. Kamatmanam svargpara janma karma falapradamaha kriya vishesha bahulama Bhogaishwarya gatim prati. 44. Bhogaishwarya prasaktanam tayapahrit chetasam Vyavsayatmika buddhi samadhauna vidhiyate. Now the Hindi translation of all of them together. Hey Parth Arjun, जो शक्ति और इंद्रिय सुखों को दृढ़ता से पकड़ के रखते हैं और जिनकी विवेकशील बुद्धि आध्यात्मिक रूप से अज्ञानी लोगों के अलंकृत भाषणों से भ्रष्ट हो जाती है, ऐसे लोगों में ध्यान की समाधि अवस्था का एक लक्ष्य केंद्रित दृढ़ निश्चय उत्पन्न नहीं होता है। ऐसा दावा करके कि वेदों की प्रशंसात्मक सूक्तियों में मनोरंजन से अधिक कुछ नहीं है, उनकी वास्तविक प्रकृति सांसारिक प्रवृत्तियों से पीड़ित होने के कारण स्वर्ग को अपना उच्चतम लक्ष्य बनाए हुए भोग विलास एवं शक्ति की प्राप्ति के लिए अनेक विशिष्ट यज्ञों को करने वाले ऐसे व्यक्ति इन इच्छाओं से प्रेरित कार्यों के परिणाम के रूप में नए जन्मों के कारणों को आमंत्रित करते हैं. English translation. O Parth Arjuna, no single pointed resolution in the meditative state of samadhi grows in those who cling tenaciously to power and to sense delights, and whose discriminative intelligence is led astray by the flowery declamations of the spiritually ignorant. Contending that there is naught else than to rejoice in the laudatory aphorisms of the Vedas, their true nature being afflicted with earthly inclinations, having heaven as their highest goal, performing numerous specific sacrificial rites for the purpose of enjoyment and power. Such persons embrace instead the cause of new births, the consequences of these desire instigated actions. So this is sounds like a very long and complex shlokas, but what is being try to say here, Krishna is saying that if you are only involved in the intellectual analysis of the Vedas, but on the same side you are hungry for power and you are hungry for sense pleasures, then don't think that you are going towards salvation. Instead, you are inviting the causes of new births and deaths. Also, he says, if you are performing sacrificial rites for the gain of material success or the gain of heavens, that means higher pleasurable states of existence, even then you are eventually going to be tied with the round of births and deaths, and this will not lead you to salvation. So this is a long list of things. People do so many outward activities, trying to please God, but simultaneously they have not purified their hearts and minds. Unless the heart and mind is purified and you have swept your heart, of all useless desires and attachments, you are not going towards salvation. You are going towards bondage. So not only is it does not mean that outward puja is not required. Yes, but outward puja should be with the inner bhav of bhakti, not with saying that I want this from this ritual and I want that from you, God, and therefore I am practicing all of these things and I have heard the Vedas, but I am still in my selfish life. So this is not going to help. But even if you have not read the Vedas, but if you are honest in your heart and loving in your heart, you are automatically fulfilling the essence of the Vedas. If you are devoted to the Lord and if you recognize Him as the doer, and if you are playing the role that has been given to you with sincerity, you are automatically living the Vedas. So, therefore, again, this is being said that do not just intellectualize, do not be superficial with your religious practices. Religion does not mean superficial rites and practices, religion means realization. Is your religion taking you to self realization or not? Any activity that you do outward or inward, if it is taking you towards moksha or self realization, that is the correct direction. But if the activity is only for some material comfort or some reward in the here or the hereafter, then it is bondage and not freedom. And therefore, we need to check our attitudes. We need to check our intentions as to if we are doing a religious practice, if we are invoking the presence of God even in our prayer and meditation, why are we doing so? Do we need some personal gains out of that connect? Or are we here to offer ourselves and dissolve ourselves into the infinite? So that bhav, that intention and direction should be very clear to each one of us. And the way has been shown. If you go towards, nishkam bhav, if you just do your practices and your daily life with love and devotion, then you are moving towards salvation. But if not, then you're going contrarily in the direction of delusion and false. So with that thought of wisdom from Sri Krishna, let us end today's class. Let us share the blessings that we have received with soul friends everywhere. Divine Mother, beloved Krishna, thou art omnipresent. Thou art in all thy children. Manifest thy healing presence in all bodies, all minds, and all souls. Om, Om, Om. Divine Mother, beloved Krishna, great Gurus, may thy love shine forever on the sanctuary of our devotion, and may we be able to awaken thy love in all hearts. Om Shanti. Shanti.